Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Toon Jam podcast. I am Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
And today we are talking about a brand new release, a film, animated, of course. It's Toon Jam podcast. Come on.
Why would it not be?
Come on. It's a film called Lava. Maybe you've heard of Lava, maybe you haven't. Let me tell you a bit about it. I'll tell you a bit about the story. Deborah, a lonely tattoo artist, endeavours to save herself and her town from an alien invasion. The aliens come in the form of large cats, cackling witches, and never-ending snakes. What's more, these dangerous invaders have harnessed the media as a means to hypnotise humanity into submission. Deborah must learn to resist their control and convince others to do the same. It's directed by I.R. Blasco, co-written by the same fella and Nicholas Britos, and then it's starring Janine Garofalo, who I should hope you will know from Mystery Men. Come on, underrated classic.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, I know it's not animation, soz, but you know, and it's also starring Cedric Williams. So, that being said, had you heard anything about anything to do with Lava, or was it completely fresh to you?
Brand new to my ears and eyeballs. This was
Fresh to my chops too. This is a pure fresh going. Did you? I didn't even know what it was about going in. I don't know about you. I didn't.
No, I was like, I don't know. I saw the poster for it and was like, I think there's like, a cat in it or something, and
yeah,
there's people in it.
It looked wacky, so I purposely was like, right, I'm just going to go in. I want to go in fresh take, no preconceptions at all, and straight in. It's about an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Though that being said, it's probably actually about an hour.
Yeah.
Because the last 15 minutes were like shorts.
Yeah, which was strange. I don't know whether that's actually on the film or like because we got a screener or whatever, so I don't know whether that's meant to be there or not.
Is, but it was very strange. It kind of, obviously if you get shorts, it's usually at the start of a movie. Not so much here.
Nope.
And they were, something of themselves. We can talk about that a bit later. So it's about an hour long, and
yeah.
I don't know. It looks like the whole film is made on Flash.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I thought Flash didn't exist anymore.
I know that there's something's happened, hasn't it? Like the main like Flash thing is no longer distributed or made, or you can't use it, or something's gone on, and like it was like last month or something. They're like Flash officially no longer exists or something.
Yeah, and this film was made sort of before that. I believe it says 2019 on the. It's an Argentinian film.
Yeah.
So obviously they've translated it newer, so it is technically an older film. So maybe it was like the last days of Flash.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it wasn't made on Flash and it just looks like it was made on Flash.
Yeah, I mean
that could happen.
Yeah. I think the most notable thing straight off the bat is that sort of flashy, not flashy as in wow, that's flashy.
The opposite.
As in Flash.
Yeah.
The look to it and the art style as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a very sort of early internet art style to it all.
Yeah, like a noughties internet sort of vibe. I'm trying to think of a the old school websites that used to have, was it like Newgrounds? Do you remember
Newgrounds? Yeah. If
any of you used to surf the web in the noughties, you've probably come across Newgrounds.
That's almost. It. Like, or basically everyone looks like they were drawn with a mouse and not a tablet or a pen or anything. It's like the lines don't quite meet up almost, it seems sometimes, and like everything's a bit wonky, and like it's just got a very kind of almost a minimalist kind of design to the characters. Although a
I
lot
mean,
of them are like adorned with tattoos as well, so it kind of it mixes it up a little bit. But
if you're looking for sort of what we're talking about, look no further than this film, and also especially the bits at the end, the little shorts. I feel like they probably were shorts on Newgrounds.
yeah,
That's
could
what
well
it
have been.
seems like.
Yeah, if there's any part of this film that was definitely made on Flash, it's the shorts.
And it's funny because those things were like they're almost like the missing link to internet memes. Those shorts.
Yeah.
So like really, like a famous one would be like salad fingers.
Yeah.
Or like burnt face man. Things like that.
But,
they were big.
Yeah.
To go into that, but yeah, I mean, what was your sort of? How did you feel about the art style?
I mean, I'm not a particularly big fan of that style.
No.
I thought it looked kind of. I mean, it just looks kind of like the past, and you know me, not a fan of looking back.
No, that's very true.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a style at least, and you know, it was pretty consistent throughout. So you know, they went for it, but I would have personally gone for something a little different. I think that the main thing was that you know, sometimes there'd be scenes where there's just like a little bit of shading in something, and you're like, oh, this looks amazing. Like suddenly the whole thing looks like, you know, a whole different caliber, and it's like, oh, why? You know, then you go back to the regular character. It's like, oh yeah, why doesn't the rest of it look like this?
I think that's exactly how I felt as well. Like you just feel almost a bit cheated at points because some things in it look really nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure why they, you know, I mean, with animation, I mean, you know, essentially the easiest route is always the one that they're going to take. Like, you know, typically animation, like they try and make it look as, I mean, like it's made to be as efficient as possible for the animators. So, like, you know, it's pretty minimal at the best of times, but still, this like the sort of the way that their characters look and stuff, and then the actual animation on top of that, like a lot of the, you know, like moving the mouths and the way that people moved, because it almost seems like everything was in slow motion in this film. Like even when it was supposed to be fast, like it seems like nobody had the ability to run. It was like one of those dreams where you just treadmilling, you're trying to get away from something, but you just can't seem to get any ground. It was so that didn't help. Like
no, and I felt like the animation format almost, because it was kind of old school and janky and very flash. There was sometimes those bits I couldn't tell if they were trying to actually do something visually or if it was just bad animation. So there's a bit where one bit she walks down the street and she just like, as the further away she gets, she really shrinks too much. And I couldn't tell if it was just like that was just a bad bit or it was trying to say she felt small. I
know what you mean. It didn't help. I was quite confused at that, and that's the thing. Like with the film as a whole is kind of trying to be absurd sometimes, and like a bit sort of like, I think it kind of wants to be kind of psychedelic almost on occasion. And so like you really can't tell whether they're doing this on purpose or not, because you're just like, oh, is this just like another thing and they're trying to make it look kind of trippy and weird, or like did they just not know how to make her go into the background in perspective? Like, but we'll never know. We'll just never know.
And I suppose on the plus side, it's that kind of film where you could, you know, it could be either. So it kind of gives you the benefit of the doubt with it.
Got a bit of leeway there to be like, man, I love that bit where she went small.
Let's go on to sort of the voice acting, because obviously Janine Garofalo is quite a big name. And I felt like she was pretty good in it. I will say a lot of the it gives you an appreciation for like anime voice actors,
Yeah.
because a lot of the voice, like a lot of the lines didn't line up with their mouths.
No.
And some point they would just keep moving their mouths and it'd be silent.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I don't know if there's gonna be a re-edit by the time it comes out, or I mean, it is out now. But since the copy we got, there's definitely some audio issues overall.
Yeah.
Like there was like some stuff I couldn't hear at all. Then there was just like blaring sounds. I mean, it didn't help because at the time something was going on outside my house, and like someone was like blasting some music out of their car, and people were shouting, and so I mean that there was just a bad situation all around, really. But throughout the film there was definitely like some people started whispering and you couldn't hear anything, and then some people would just like had like a really weird sound to them, like it was recorded on a phone from like across the street or something.
Yeah, and that was a lot of it, wasn't it? Like it would be weird because they were talking and it would sound like they were really far away.
Yeah. And then there was the lip sync was off like pretty much all the way through the film. But I mean, again, could be something that they've cleaned up now or not. I'm not sure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's always tough with a translation. And the thing is, you can tell that it wasn't an English film because there's so much kind of like in the background, and there's a lot of like text on stuff that's like not in English. So you're just like, oh yeah, okay, I don't know what that says.
It's pretty interesting, as I've never watched an Argentinian film before, to my memory. So it's quite interesting to see sort of, even if it is, it's not literally filmed Argentina, but you get a slice of, their culture almost with something like this, even if it's a bit out there. And I think the biggest thing it's got going for it, this film, is sort of the intrigue of the storyline. The storyline is probably the sort of the main pull, and it's very bizarre.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's comical, but it did feel sort of like I don't know, almost like a hipster propaganda.
Yeah.
At the same time.
It really did,
so like, tattooists are prized people in the invasion. Don't use your phones because that's how they get you.
Yeah.
That's it really. I can't think of many other draws on that front, but it did feel a bit like when you're watching it, like, all right, with the tattoos.
Yeah, there was a lot about art, wasn't there? And like that, how much artists mean, and all this jazz, and it was cats in there as well. They look. It had some really weird moments, and it is like, it's really strange. It was like art house Newgrounds. what a niche.
Yeah, which, to be fair, so the guy that did Salad Fingers,
David Firth,
he's gone a bit art house.
Yeah, I think he was always a bit like on the left field side, wasn't he? Like, even his earlier animations had some other stuff in there that were like, what?
Do you think this is the way of the Newgrounds now? They've become artists.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a while. Like, like if you were making Flash animation in the early 2000s, you're probably pretty decent right now. Like, If you've kept at it, then yeah. I mean, even David Firth's like stepped it up quite a bit.
Because when was it? It was like, it was early noughties, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like 15, 20 years ago. Yeah. So it has come along.
Yeah, you look at the stuff that's being made now by, I guess it's because technology and everything's kind of advanced. So the stuff that they were dealing with just to try and make animation look half decent, it's now like way easier. So if they've progressed with the times, and I imagine that they're probably pretty decent now, because we've got that new range of artists. But maybe they felt underappreciated as early noughties artists online, and that's kind of what this is about, maybe.
It makes you wonder what the next step for memes is.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to get memes in museums?
Well, I think some of them already are, maybe.
There you go.
In like the MoMA or something.
Yeah.
I know they have, they've got emojis in there, so, you know, that's I imagine there's probably some memes that are
art
probably...
house. Imagine art house memes.
Oh man, that's what we want.
That's next.
It's the way forward, art house memes.
But I mean, the story, it was intriguing, and I did kind of want to know what was going on. But then the more that unfolded, the more I started to realise I wasn't going to get what was going on.
Yeah.
I wondered. I was going to like. How did you feel about the plot? Like, did you find something in it?
Not really. No. It was like, it seemed like, as far as the story goes, there was a lot of ideas. There was almost like several ideas that they kind of put together and then just kind of made that the story, it seemed. Because there's this whole sort of like mythical side of it, isn't there, with like giant snakes and alien invaders.
Because I liked that. That was like, obviously, you know me.
Yeah.
A bit of mythology, a bit of history.
Yeah, I knew you'd like that bit. There's like some bit where it's like some flashback to like, in Nordic myth, this is this, and I'm like, Matt will really enjoy this part.
Yeah. And it's like the whole thing with the tree, that's mythology as well. There's several mythologies that have the tree of life type of thing.
Yeah.
So there was obviously things in there. However, I just don't feel like they made enough of it almost.
Yeah, it didn't really culminate in anything, did it? Because
No.
I must say, like, the ending felt very abrupt.
Yeah.
It was almost like, oh, here we go, here's the final act, and then it was like credits.
Yeah. And it was like the credits was like one page of credits.
Yeah.
And then it threw you these shorts at you, which you kind of assumed were something to do with it.
Yeah.
But then you quickly got the idea that
quickly learned they were nothing to do with it at all. Which almost was worse in a way, that was like, oh, I was kind of hoping for a conclusion or an explanation.
Yeah.
And then it was like, check these things out for another 15 minutes that are totally unrelated.
and I mean, before we go on to the shorts, I think a big thing that stood out to me was it had, and I want to see your opinion on this. And I'm pretty sure they just called her the Chinese girl.
Yeah, definitely.
That was pretty racist.
That was well bad. I don't know how that got past the rate. Like, it just immediately seeing that character just visually was like,
visually
oh, no.
was I mean, this was worse than the kid in Caillou.
Yeah, it was. It really was. It makes that look like nothing at all.
It was like wartime propaganda.
Yeah.
Like the goofy teeth.
Tiny eyes, just a line for eyes.
Yeah. And then she was just like jumping around like a ninja.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, the Chinese girl.
And
it just felt like, this is, I don't know.
Yeah. Can we do this now? Is this 2021 safe? I don't think it is.
I mean, maybe this was okay on Newgrounds.
Yeah, that's it. Can't bring your Newgrounds stuff here.
No.
It's not the same place.
There's a place for that.
Yeah.
And it's called the past.
Quite right. Yeah, that was, I mean, I didn't really know what to think about that other than this is a mistake.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to cause an issue for folk watching it. And it was completely unnecessary as well. Like, there was no reason for it to be that way.
Yeah.
It had no weight in the story. It was just.
And it's weird because the story itself had elements of like there's this whole possible lesbian storyline.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. That obviously that's very current, really. And it had elements of I want to say acceptance, but probably more diversity.
Yeah, it was trying to talk openly about like sexuality and stuff, wasn't it? Like, you know, maybe not in the best way. Like it did feel a bit clumsy at times, but I mean, at least it was there, which is, you know, more than a lot of things can say.
And it wasn't like, didn't feel like it was pointing fun at people or anything.
No, it was just literally like the characters sort of expressing their feelings, which was like, you know, not something you get all the time.
Yeah, but then they come out with, you know, some racist wartime propaganda.
Yeah, and you're like, what is happening here? Like, where did this come from? It's so weird. Yeah. That was definitely not fantastic.
Yeah, that definitely needs a review on that. Okay, let's quickly touch on the shorts. These were, I mean, some were funny, some were bizarre. They were 100% old school internet.
Yeah.
The first one did make me laugh.
Which one was that?
The one where there's a guy and his girlfriend or his wife or someone he lives with watching a show, and he's like scared she's going to die.
Yeah.
And it was just stupid. And then there was the Bugs Bunny. Well, not Bugs Bunny. Bogs Bunny or something like that.
Yeah, they just kept doing stuff.
Yeah. And then
the guy.
They were just bizarre.
Yeah, it was like very early internet stuff, where it's like, it's almost like the fact that you don't have an idea makes it like that's part of it.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like the stupid stuff you do with Flash animation.
It's no concept. It's just like trail of thought, kind of.
Yeah.
Just put it out there. That
and
kind
it's one of those things, you know, you see that on the internet and you just think nothing of it. You just watch it. That was weird.
Yeah.
But when it's on a film. And that's very much kind of like how the film felt, actually, in a way. Like if you'd watched that in episodes on the internet, like just some silly episodes, and you just kept watching it, you're just like, this is weird. It gives you a different eye to when you're watching it as a movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think it'd have worked quite well in that format. Just especially because like all the weird story elements like would have really kept you going for a bit longer if you had to wait a week to find out what was going on or whatever, as opposed to it unraveling in the next 10 minutes sort of thing.
Yes, yeah.
It would have worked a lot better, and you could excuse all the stuff that's like, you know, you kind of I think we all have kind of a bar when you go in to watch a film, you know, especially because I think this was released in cinemas as well, did it say?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, not much is released at the cinemas.
Cinemas in the minute, no, but it's if for some reason it was at a cinema, you know, if you've gone to the effort of, you know, getting yourself showered and dressed and going out and, you know, making the effort down there, we've all kind of got a standard bar where we sort of expect everything to kind of land, and this does still look like it was made, you know, in the early aughts on, you know, a program someone's got on their PC sort of thing, like and so maybe you probably would have been a bit dissatisfied with the sort of quality that side, as opposed to if you just stumbled across it on YouTube. Very different animal, very different entirely.
It's interesting to think about it sort of like that, because it just shows you sort of your own perceptions. Real art house. It's on Toon Jam. Okay, well, I think we've talked about it a bit. Shall we go on to our ratings and reviews?
Yes.
Hey, sports fans! Are you tired of hearing episodes that ain't about sports?
My whole life is sports.
Well, get ready for a real touchdown coming your way. Why don't you join our Patreon?
Our Patreon is fully packed of smackdown, touchdown, big goals. That's right, we've got a lineup, a whole season of sports shows just for you.
3-pointer. We've just finished up. We've got Mighty Ducks, Globetrotters, Rock and Wrestling. You name it.
And if that ain't enough, we aren't even going to stop with sports. Well, we are going to stop with sports because we're going into the future.
Whoa! That's right, heroes from the past bring themselves into the future. Get ready for a crazy time mix-up with our next special Heroes Remix. Over the next... Patreon.com/ToonJamPod. Get on it, guys.
So here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. Thumbs up. What is going on next? Super intrigued. I need more. Thumbs down. Racial stereotypes.
No.
Shouldn't really have to even say that. And shaky middle. The internet movie cartoon crossover.
Mm.
Where's everyone standing on that? Okay, so Lava, your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like we've said, the story is kind of out there, and you know, I do enjoy some good weirdness, so that did sort of keep me going a little bit. Though there was a lot of this sort of like focus on artists and tattooists, and then the story did get sidetracked a lot by this sort of like relationships going on. It seemed like there was a lot of the film that was just very quiet. I felt like it was missing a score pretty much all the time. There was so many scenes where it's like someone walking away for a really long time or something. Like, just felt like it could have probably been cut down substantially into maybe, you know, like a YouTube video or something, like we've been saying, and maybe would have been a bit of a tighter kind of thing. But you know, it had some new ideas in there. Some maybe not so new as well, but still likable. Like there was a scene that seemed like it was pulled from the books of Stephen King's Cell, but you know, maybe that's just me looking into it. I think you know, the voice acting was all right. I mean, I feel like we didn't get prime Janine Garofalo, but it was still Janine Garofalo. The supporting cast, you know, not particularly notable as far as like characters and voices go. I think overall it was, for saying that if you read the blurb, it sounds really weird and crazy. I think there weren't really that many crazy and weird scenes throughout for saying that was the plot of the film. I think like it could have gone a bit wilder than it did. So I think for me, it's probably going to be a shaky middle, but it's going to be a low shaky for me. I think.
Ooh,
low shaky.
A low shaky.
I think room for improvement is my teacher's remark at the end of this. Yeah.
Well, I think. I mean, yeah, I agree with a lot of what you say. I felt like the intrigue only lasted so long, and as it unfolded, I started to lose sort of patience with it, because I started feeling a bit like this is not really going anywhere, and it was almost like it was being made up as they went along. And they didn't really know what they were doing with themselves. It doesn't even have an ending, really.
No.
Which is a big problem. I couldn't get on with the art and the animation. Just weren't for me. Like you say, I mean, I do like Janine Garofalo.
Yeah.
So, you know, that helped a little bit, but at the same time, it's not the prime. And you can't really get past that racial moment.
No.
Which was just, you know, come on. What time we living
It took up a lot of time as well. It wasn't just like it popped in and then it went away. It was there. This
film would, I think it would be acceptable if you watched it in shorts on the internet, and it was your kind of thing. I do feel like it's something of a Marmite film, in which, what I mean by that is either you'll love it or you hate it. And I think there'll be people that really, really do like it. because it feels like a niche film.
Yeah.
But I am not one of those people. I couldn't get on with it, and to me, I'm going to have to give it a thumbs down.
Wow.
And my teacher's remark would be, "See me after class."
Oh no, that's the worst one.
Yeah, no, I just couldn't get on with it. I tried. I mean, that being said, just to say, there were a few moments in it that were quite funny. Like, as a comedy, it is humorous. It does have its moments, and especially if you do like those old internet flash animation stuff, it does have quite a few bits that will make you chuckle. But yeah, overall, I just couldn't get on with it. So a down and a middle.
Yeah.
Not the worst.
Not the worst.
But not great. But what did you? I mean, you can watch it yourself if you wish, and I'll tell you exactly where. You can go to Amazon, In Demand, iTunes, Google Play, DirecTV, AT&T, Vimeo On Demand, and Fandango. It's available in both English and Spanish. It's available now as well. You can go and watch it right now. So if you do watch it, let us know what you think, because maybe you're one of those people that loved it, and maybe you got more out of it than we did. Maybe you can explain things to us that us cretins missed.
We just went way over our head.
Yeah, which is, it's not the first time that's probably happened.
Yeah, probably every episode.
So do let us know what you think. I would genuinely be really intrigued on something like this, because as much as I didn't get on with it, it is an interesting watch. It wasn't something like it's one of them things where it's worth your time almost. So see what you think. Other than that, though, that's another week down.
Yeah,
another week. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Something new, something different. If you want to get in touch with us for any recommendations or to just say hi, you can do so on the 3 giant witches of the internet: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, at Toon Jam Pod. You can head over to our Patreon for some extra bonus episodes, and you can also help us out massively just by giving us a rate and review on whatever it is you listen to. It really helps us out, and it helps other people find us and tune in. So yeah, other than that, have a great week. Hopefully see you next time, and until then, you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.